Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2025 Google Business Profile and Local SEO Playbook. I'm your host, Josh Blakeley. I'm the owner and founder of Landscape and Hardscape Contractor Marketing. And here we are. We're going to get started running through what's going on in 2025 with Google Business Profiles and Local SEO, because a ton is changing. AI is changing a lot of things in particular, so we're going to be spending a good chunk of this webinar walking through what those changes are, how you can implement them with your business, and really just make sure that you're on top of all of the changes Google is rolling out. And here's the kicker now. It's not just Google that's playing a factor now. It's the AI models, the chat GPTs, Google Gemini there as well. So we're going to jump straight in and get started on this. So first of all, what we go through here, what we cover in this webinar here, we're basing this on our accelerated growth model for our marketing growth programs for our clients. And that really falls into these three components. The first one is driving leads. Second one is maximizing the conversion of those leads into sales. And then the last step is then optimizing, checking, what's working, what can be done better, cycling through this model again. And what we're covering today, the Google Business Profile, Local SEO falls into the Organic SEO section of our growth roadmap. So you can see this here. It's the very first part of driving leads, and what we would say is the foundation of getting a really strong marketing presence online. SEO absolutely should be your foundation, and then you've got other methods like your paid traffic campaigns, paid ads, social media paid advertising, and then your existing database, which sometimes gets forgotten. But we're going to focus here on the organic side and dive into the details here. And here it is outlined in our digital domination method here. So we've got SEO and organic up on the top left side of things there too. And look, you may be running a few of these areas right now for your business, or maybe it's something you've done in the past. Maybe it's something you've thought about here today. I have webinar topics on each of these. You can go back through our YouTube channel there as well, but we like to keep things fresh. Digital marketing is always changing. And like I said at the start, AI more so than anything. So we want to be sharing what are the most important changes that are happening through here. And today, the must-know 2025 updates. First thing we're going to go through here is just getting back to basics. A lot of AI really is now looking through at your overall presence online. And these are the things you have to get right from the beginning. So we'll be detailing that. Reviews and reputation has always been important, but really just the core factor of having a strong presence online now is making sure your reputation is clear. So we've got some great strategies around that and what to do to actually maximize reviews as they come in. And then branding and engaging actively across the internet. So we're focused, yes, on the Google Business Profile here, local SEO side of things too. But now AI is changing things. Your Google Business Profile, as I'll go through, is now scanning social media profiles as long as you have it set up. So if you're not already starting to be active on social media, now is absolutely the time. And I'm going to be sharing a few strategies, a few tips on how you can maximize what you're doing on your Google Business Profile on local SEO and pushing that out to social media channels as well. So let's get into it. Other than that, we're going to be going through some of the issues that could be preventing you from ranking properly. We're going to be going through our methods, what we actually roll out for our clients to get them ranked, and for our own business. We test and make sure we're using these strategies for ourselves as well. And then some details on some tools on that can systematize, automate these areas as well. So make sure to get the most out of this session. We're going to have a live Q&A at the end, but make sure that you're taking notes as you go through. Make sure you're picking out, what's this little strategy that maybe we're not doing. I'm happy to answer questions on that. Or, you don't want to miss anything. There's a lot of things we're going to be covering here as well. And if you're in the green industry, if you're a contractor, home service business, these strategies are all going to apply to you. And we're not going to go for 90 minutes, I will say that, but we're going to make this really short and sweet in terms of value for you as well. So yeah, we'll definitely not be 90 minutes long, but let's get into it. So a little bit about me, why listen to us? Well, we're a marketing agency that's focused on the green industry, on landscape, hardscape, outdoor living contractors. I mean, this number is climbing more and more revenue here. This probably needs to be updated here as well. But, this industry, we're helping companies generate millions in new business that they never would have had before unless they'd implemented marketing strategies online that were working. We're also members of various state organizations across the green industry here as well. And of course, like, we're always wanting to grow and be the best at what we can do. So we're a part of a coaching mentoring program, one of a few we're a part of, called Seven Figure Agency, which helps us to be the best agency for this industry that we can be. Also recently released, and just to go through the strategies that I'll be covering through here, I've recently written a book, and this came out last month. So it's about a month old or so, but this is based on strategies from that book. The webinars I'm covering, these marketing tactics, these are proven marketing strategies that I've compiled into this book as well. So you can buy it on Amazon, but if you want to get a free copy, go to backyardempirebook.com and you'll be able to just get yourself a free copy there. You just have to give us your name and email address, but if you're on this live, probably have that already. So go ahead and just get your free copy there, the free digital copy. You're welcome to buy a physical one if you'd like. But, this is what we do. Our focus is around helping companies in the industry really just grow their business and have a trusted marketing partner who's going to help take their business to the next level, who's going to take the worry and stress of worrying about marketing themselves over onto us, because we value our reputation, and it's key for us to make sure that we're doing the right thing by our clients in this industry and hitting their revenue goals. Some of our value clients here you can see that we're working with across the country. Now let's get down to one of the big questions here. Firstly, do Google Maps matter now that AI is starting to take away from search? And the question I have for everyone who's watching this is, have you used something other than Google to search recently? I'll give you a moment to think about that. You can put an answer in the chat if you want. And if you're anything like me, I'm actually starting to use other platforms to search for things online. And one of them, ChatGPT, is one. Perplexity is another really good one. Google is now giving overviews with things. But one thing hasn't really changed too much about my search habits is that I'm still using Google when I'm trying to find local businesses like a restaurant. I'm still taking time to read through reviews on that there as well. And look, yeah, it's we had someone in the chat say no, they haven't. This AI hasn't changed the game here for the way people search. It is going to change things a little bit, but Google Maps absolutely still does matter. And this is a quick breakdown of how the Google search results still appear. There's starting to be a little section at the top with AI overviews. They have been rolling that over the last couple of weeks for local searches. But you still have your paid searches at the top. That's your Google local services ads. Sometimes your typical Google ads are there. But Google Maps is still showing in this next section. And now some of the Google Maps profiles have a sponsored tag next to them if they're running ads, and if their ads have been set up that way there too. But, people are still searching and looking this here, not for services anyway, is one figure in the chat. Yeah, that's really my key point around that. Yeah, people are searching for informational things, or maybe, how-to video. A lot of that's on video content, but looking for a local business is still here as well. And, it will start to change, but AI has to draw all this information from somewhere too. So going to dive into the key areas that you want to be focusing on for that. And this is what happens with the Google Maps profile. If you're not quite familiar with how Google business profiles rank, they rank differently to a website. One of the key factors is how close someone is, the searcher, to the location of the business. Or some businesses you don't have the address shown. Google still has an idea of where that business was originally verified. They will still use this as well. But if you're in those positions in this heat map here, it's a landscape business in Tucson, not a client of ours, but just one we ran an audit for. Positions 1, 2, and 3, they're showing up on the previous slide I showed. They're in that first position, so people see you straight away. If you're a 4 or a 5 or a 6, people have to go and scroll down and find your business. It takes longer, they're less likely to click on you, etc. And there's one little 8 over there as well, and they're probably not going to get seen there too. But this is the way Google business profiles work, and really the goal is to getting the maximum leads coming through Google business profiles, is making sure you're in position 1, 2, and 3 for the widest area possible for all of the services that you want to get work from. So in a nutshell, if you haven't actually seen how these work, that's how a Google business profile ranks. And, core of it all is Google Maps matter. They're still highly, highly important. And Google is not going to give up on competing for the space in AI, and they have huge resources. So even though there's ChatGPT that people are using for search, Google is not going to let that market share go away. They're going to fight to make sure that their assets, and a Google business profile is Google's asset. Just so we're all clear on that. Your website, provided you own it and you don't have a marketing company that's holding your website hostage, your website is your asset. Google business profile is always Google's asset. And if you've had a profile suspended, which has been happening a lot, you're kind of at the mercy of making sure you follow Google's guidelines to get that live again there as well. And just the last point, pay-per-click alone, pay-per-click is great, but if you're just relying on pay-per-click alone long-term, you're missing out the foundation. So you absolutely want to be focused on SEO strategies there too. And this presentation, we're going to dive into like the key ranking factors as well. I just want to give a quick run through of making sure you have your Google business profile. For those people who are watching who've never seen this type of presentation before, this might be kind of new to you. And I do talk to contractors who don't have a business profile set up yet, or it's suspended, or it's unverified, and they just don't quite know that's happening, and that no one is seeing you online when those businesses are suspended for a while, or when they're unverified, they eventually stop showing on Google Maps. But if you're not sure, this is how you get a Google business profile. Go to business.google.com, or you can go to Google Maps on your phone and set it up. Google is requiring video verifications for all of these now. You're going to have to film, and it gives you a checklist. They give you a checklist, film your location, some branding, some tools, and things like that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but that's the first thing you need to do. And really the core of making sure you get your GBP ranked is give Google as much data as possible. But I'm sure you didn't take time out of your day to watch this for me to tell you that. So let's get into some tactical side of things here as well. And there's this kind of 3 core areas that Google uses to rank your Google business profile: relevance, proximity, and prominence. So number 1 is the relevant search. You got to be relevant to the people around you. And if someone is searching for a landscaping service, if your categories aren't right, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. So really, because this is a landscape outdoor living contractor focused webinar, the categories we see most work, and you choose a primary category, and then there's up to 9 secondary categories. They added that over time. You couldn't always add 9, but now you can. Landscaper is what we would recommend there too. In some cases, depending on the range of services, clients are providing, but also landscape designer works great. And if you have both of those categories in, Google is going to pick them up there as well. But check your categories. If you're doing lawn care, absolutely make sure you have lawn care in there. If you're doing other types of work like concrete, make sure you have concrete contractor or maybe masonry, depending on your other categories. If you're doing anything interior, general contractor is the other category that kind of starts to cover you there, though Google will kind of split you a little bit there. If you do an interior and exterior outdoor stuff there, it's usually best to pick one there as well, because Google will, you're crossing a lot of boundaries there in terms of categories, and it's going to be harder to rank for all of those services. So just something to keep in mind. Next, core things to fill in. Attributes. In the profile, there's sections to fill in about your business. Just make sure that you've selected each of those as you go through. Your business description is really, really important. That should be, you get 750 characters to put in there. Make sure in your business description that you are listing your primary service location and your services. And you can use AI to help you write this and even Google actually has an AI generator built into a lot of their description copy now on the profile. But just make sure you've filled that out to the maximum amount with all the characters there. Now, business hours, something that happened about a year or so ago with your business hours is whether a business was open or not started to become more of a ranking factor. So recommendation around here, open your business as long as you can. So, if you can start taking calls at 7 a.m., if you're taking calls to 6 p.m., that's a pretty good window because not all your competitors are going to be doing that. You're going to have a chance to be outranking competitors in those areas there. But here's what's happening now. Now we have AI voice answering services, or maybe you've used an actual call center as well. So the AI voice, it's just getting better and better every day. Today is the worst it will ever be for AI voice, but you can set it up where you have an AI voice answer your business calls after hours and schedule that person onto you connect your calendar in, schedule that person the next day or the day after with a phone conversation with you. And that's better than having a business line that goes to nothing if you're set your hours to 24 hours. So there's these little competitive edges that AI is providing around here. So we recommend doing all of that as possible. Make sure your profile is linking to your website. That's a common thing we see happen, which we'll get to in the next few slides, but Google's drawing from your website. If you haven't linked it, you can't do that. Services, products listed, just go into all the details you can about all of your services, any of the specific products you use there as well. And then posts, be posting regularly. We've got some guidelines around at least once a week is what you should be posting about. Post about your services, post about your recent projects, post about your team. Give Google that information there as well. And then Q&A content is there. Q&As are not going to be around for much longer. Google is phasing them out. But that is something else for relevance that you can be adding in there as well. Then the second part for relevance is what we call the off-GBP strategies. These are the things that get done away from actually in the Google Business Profile dashboard that will also help you become more relevant and help you with rankings here as well. So the website link I mentioned before, everything that's on the website is your off-GBP information. And I did a whole webinar really going through the details of how the website should be set up, but make sure you've got all your services that are on the Google Business Profile matching what's on the website. Make sure they mirror each other there as well. And you're talking about the locations that you're in, and you have projects on your site that are showcasing where that project was done, which neighborhood, which services, which product were all used there as well. And then some more technical things, there's something called schema. If you've got someone who knows what they're doing with SEO on your website, they absolutely need to be using schema. So that is the rundown of relevance. I ran through that pretty quick, but just take a moment to do a quick checklist yourself on your Google Business Profile about anything there that you hopefully you have your Google Business Profile up in front of you. But something that maybe something you didn't you weren't aware of, and if you have specific questions, yeah, keep note of them. We can do a deep dive into that at the end of this. Right, next up, after relevance, is now the proximity of things here. So Google Business Profiles, there's two ways to have them listed. You have a verified physical address, or you can have what's called a service area business, which means that address never actually shows up online, though you do have to put in a mailing address to Google at the beginning. They won't let you use PO boxes, kind of within reason. There's some kind of listed post addresses that will slip through, but for the most part, if it has PO box in front of it, they're not going to let you use it. And we always recommend, and we see rankings work the best for physical address businesses by being shown on the map. However, your video verification is more stringent for this, and Google, now one of the big things really there, they want to see that you've got permanent signage on that address, which could be harder to do if it was obviously like a co-working space or something like that. Can be trickier to do that. And also we're seeing some business profiles get disabled or suspended, maybe when you make some edits and Google is picking up the address is showing when it doesn't think it's a business location. So just something to be aware of there. Then make sure you've got a local phone number. Don't use 800 numbers or anything like that. Give local relevance to Google and to people. People are more likely to call a business when it has a local number as opposed to the toll-free numbers. And then the off GPP factors for proximity is making sure that NAP and NAP, name, address, phone number, they're consistent across every other listing on your business on the internet. So that's your other social media profiles. It's listings in directories, associations, networking groups you might be a part of, all of that there too. And I touched on the hyper local content on the last section there as well, but you want to be sending Google signals about these specific areas. That going back to the heat map I showed before, Tucson has that quite larger area, but it's got specific neighborhoods. Whichever location you're in, you want to tell Google information about that. So building out pages for your projects, mentioning neighborhoods where you did the work is a good way to do that. And then making sure that that's pushed through onto the Google Business Profile is a factor there for proximity. And lastly, for proximity, it is well worth it in a lot of cases to look at relocating your address to an office which is in a higher population area. There'll probably be a little bit more competition with things, but if your Google Business Profile, if you're right next to like the ocean, or you're right next to like a state park or something, those are whole areas of the map that there's never going to be people there finding your business. So it's kind of well worth it, doing a little bit of a geographic analysis at where the people that you want to be seen by are showing up. There's this little tactic there to help you in terms of adjusting proximity, because once you've set it, without changing that address, there's not a ton you can do to move that initial starting point for proximity. Okay, then the third place I want to take a look at here, and I'll give you guys a moment just to think back to the proximity side of things, is prominence. And really, prominence is showing Google, okay, what's your business about? How well known are you in the community? What are actual people saying about you? Or what is original content in the form of photos and video what is it saying about your business? So core of this should be, it's got to be reviews. Now, review count matters. Quality and star rating is not hugely important for the ranking side, but it is for making people like you and I decide to choose to call your business over a competitor. If they're a 4.1 star and you're a 4.9, you're going to be getting the call first over them. So that's important too. But now another really key factor has come in over the last 6 months or so for ranking, and it's the recency and also the frequency of reviews. So now more than ever, it's important that you are getting recurring, regular reviews coming through to your profile. Got some strategies to share around that too, but that's important for prominence. Responding to reviews, there are tools that can do that automatically. And then really, like we said before, with photos and video, like tell Google about your business. Stock photos, stock AI generated photos are not going to do that. So get that original content. Your Google Business Profile, you can actually put videos on there up to 30 seconds long, and they need to be under a certain file size. But that's the kind of short form video that not only can be used on the Google profile, it can be used across all of these short form video platforms, of which, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of those, you can do that. So you can reuse that across there. And also now, on that note of social media, Google Business Profiles last year brought in a section where you can now actually add in social media profiles and connect that. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're using that to show Google, hey, we're on these platforms as well. And then lastly, for the prominence part, the off GBP strategies here is, okay, what kind of links can you get coming back to your website and Google Business Profile? Like, most of these are going to now allow you to do things like put your Google Business Profile link in them. Their citations is your directory listings, media mentions, getting press releases or local news covering something you've done. If you're sponsoring an event, if you're sponsoring a sports team, those are all parts of the media mentions there. And something else, just a little extra trick that we've seen now with JBP with ChatGPT searches. They're linking to Microsoft's ecosystem for that, and Bing Places is Microsoft's Bing's version on the Bing search engine, their version of your Google Business Profile. But what you can set up on Bing Places is that you can just have your profile sync with your Google Business Profile. So if you haven't done that, make sure you go to bingplaces.com, set that up, set it to sync, because that's another area that can be neglected. But now with ChatGPT using that data, you want to future-proof yourself for AI searches around there. Okay, and then just to touch on the review side of things, it's important for people to see here as well, but there's keywords that started to show up on your reviews. They get pushed to your Google Business Profile now, and people are going to spend time reading them, which are all great SEO signals there as well. So if I haven't emphasized enough, reviews, good quality reviews, doing good quality work, asking for the review is really important. Then you should be monitoring what's happening with your Google Business Profile over time, how many calls, how many website visits you're getting. Yes, you can have seasonal adjustments with things there too, but you should be able to see, a trend of what's happening there by using your Google Business Profile. And there's some other tools as well. Our particular tool that we use is JBL Connect. We do this for managing a ton of the back end of things, but also responding to reviews, managing profiles there. And there's a review response section there. Happy to chat to people about this if they want to take a look. We include this in our marketing programs, but reviews can be easy or hard. It's really your choice, but absolutely they need to be coming through to your profile. All right, and then the off-page prominence side of things, we already went through that. But what I did want to share was actually a couple of strategies around getting some local links, because sometimes these can be tricky to get. And I would say number one area here that can get you a great local link is to join your local Chamber of Commerce, because they're going to list your business on their directory. So not only will you get people using that directory, because the Chamber of Commerce is a very trusted association, but you get a link over to your business here. So we always recommend joining that. And here in San Diego, where I am, there is a regional chamber, which we're a part of, but there's like 12 other chambers we could join, and we could get a different backlink from high quality sites there as well. So if you're in a higher metro population area, I mean, even most cities are probably going to have at least 2 or 3 Chamber of Commerce directories you can join. And I can tell you, it's well worth the investment in joining outside of just the networking and business prominence method as well. But there's a few other ones you can take a look at there as well. Curious, just as we're finishing up this little section, if anyone wants to share, has anyone tried these strategies before? Or maybe you are sponsoring teams, but you just hadn't thought to do the linking side of things. Feel free to share that if there's anything there. All right. All right. Now, the other key thing I wanted to talk about was the do nots, the things to avoid that can be hurting your rankings, and sometimes you just might not know. So firstly, the number one, we talked about the address being key there as well. And yes, the first one, to show a physical address, you need an office or a location, I would call it. Doesn't even have to strictly be an office. You can get that up there too. Service area businesses, you don't specifically need that. You just give Google a mailing address for that there. But really, I would highly recommend that address as much as possible. Check that you don't have duplicate locations. That can be affecting rankings. Search for your business name. If more than one profile shows up, you're going to need to find a way to access that and mark it closed, or you can request Google to remove it as a duplicate, though they don't always do that. If you're seeing your different variations of a name, maybe you did a rebrand, maybe you changed addresses, maybe you changed phone numbers across the internet, you need to go through to those different profiles and fix them up so that they're consistent, or use a service. Yext is a service that can do that. Primary category went through that, so hopefully we checked that at the beginning. And reviews should be a very easy check for you to say, do you have enough? And what's enough? What is enough reviews on your profile? Look at your competitor, your highest competitor in your area, and you want to beat them by 10, 15, 20 reviews. But really, for newer profiles, until you crack through like that 10, 15 review mark, your profile is really neutered. So if you're a newer business, you got a newer profile, make that one of your key focuses to build up the reviews as soon as possible to get over that 15 review hump. Now, let's dive into the specific updates for 2025 that we covered at the beginning. So firstly, mastering the basics. So like I was saying, AI is changing things in a lot of ways, but what it is doing, what we know it's doing, is it's scanning all parts of the internet for your business. So first thing you got to do, make sure you have a profile set up on all the big social media platforms. And really, there's a really comprehensive list in this book. Again, you can get a free copy that has a whole list for the profiles you should do it for. But even the ones you're not going to use, like Pinterest. I mean, service businesses don't really use Pinterest a lot, but it's a good another signal to Google and these AI platforms, LLMs, learning language models that are searching. So make sure you've got them set up and verified. Like we said in the last section there, make sure that information is correct across all of those channels, and choose the right categories for your business is now more important, that we covered there as well. So basics, pretty basic stuff, but easy to miss. I talk to a lot of people and even clients we just start working with, and they maybe have 2 or 3 of the profiles set up, and it's like, okay, you don't have a LinkedIn company page, takes you like 5-10 minutes to set that up, and you can take what you've got on other profiles and put it over. So do it. Okay, now the reviews side of things. Here are some quick strategies that can help you here, because again, stressing this all the way through this presentation, that reviews are important. There's automated platforms that can automatically send texts and emails and things once you mark a job done or complete. The personal touch in person, physical flyer with the QR code on it is great. But yeah, NFC cards is actually one of the areas we see working the best and the easiest. Just holding that card up for people to put their phone up to, or scan the QR code there as well. A lot of people since COVID are used to QR codes, so it's not too crazy for people to see that as well. But if you've got maybe older clientele, that's where you switch over to the personal touch and do what you do there for getting them to leave a review. Just make it as easy as possible, but for those types of people, do it in person. Make it right there in front of them while they can see you. Even better, if you can get these people to leave photos of your work. Some people get photos with their clients. That looks cool. That's a great selling point, by the way. Or even short videos. People can leave short videos for reviews as well. So if you can have them do that there and get them to talk about the specifics, get them to specify what you did. Okay, we did a retaining wall and a patio here. We used Belgard as a product, or whatever people want to put in there. Like, guide them, help them write their review. That's all going to help you. Okay, and then respond to them. We already been through that using other ones there too. Last key thing for our 2025 updates here is just be consistent on what you're doing. Make sure that you are getting projects up online that you're doing, and that you are building your brand online. It's never been more important now to be building that brand presence online with AI. And the best way to do that is just to update, keep doing those types of things. Put it to your social media profiles on other platforms. We had, like I said, the Q&A feature, which is going to be deprecated soon, but there's still time to use that there as well. But really the core thing with local SEO now is making sure that what you have on your website is matching your Google business profile. And that's part of your branding. Your website should be the hub. It should be showcasing the best, latest projects you've done. It should be showcasing a page for every service. It should be showing your reviews and testimonials. Even better if you've got some video testimonials or video walkthroughs of projects there. It should be showcasing which areas in your region that you serve. All of these things are really important for your organic website SEO too. But whatever you've done there, mirror it on the GBP. Make sure you've got the categories. Make sure you're doing Google posts, linking back to those pages as well. And that's how you start to build out the brand across the board. And there are lots of tools now that make it easier to post on multiple platforms. So if you're going to go to the effort of putting a Google post together, put it on Facebook, put it on LinkedIn company page, put it on Instagram, get some video out on TikTok, get some video out on those other platforms there as well. But more important, if you just want to future-proof your business for this new world of AI and how SEO is changing, not just from search engine optimization, but for AEO, which is answer engine optimization, branding has never been more important digitally, but also physically. That's a whole other world we could dive into probably in another webinar. We'll cover some of the physical side of things too, but your signage, your flyers, talking to neighbors, making sure you've got wraps down on your vehicles and things like that. This is all coming together to help each other out. Okay, so that is the run through. I hope that was really beneficial for everyone watching, particularly those latest 2025 updates. If you want us to take a review of what you've got, because I covered a ton of stuff there. Yeah, we use tools and things to track that, and you might be using some as well. But if you want us to run a report for you and jump on a phone call and actually run through some areas that's going to help you, we'd be more than happy to do that. You can just go to our website and go to the schedule page or call us and book a time. A couple other cool free resources, and we'll go through this actually before we do Q&A. There's the book, obviously, backyardempirebook.com. We actually have a directory, a website specifically, and it's actually just launched last week in its new version. But this is a platform we built out to be listing businesses in different directories. And you can actually get your free listing at outdoorspaceshq.com. I tell you now, it's like early days. We've got businesses listed in there, but there's a chance to get in early and get some of those first spots there. So check out outdoorspaceshq.com. You get a backlink, and you get linking back to your Google business profile, your reviews are shown, etc. Very cool there too. Other key thing that we've started launching this year is a podcast focusing on the outdoor living, construction, green industry called the Backyard Empire podcast to coincide with the book. And we want to interview and chat to business owners about their journey and also talk to other associated people in the industry. We've spoken to a few other people who are coaches, consultants, financial advisors, people coming from different areas of the industry. But it's just a place we just sit down, simple interview format. You just share your business journey and share some insights. I'm getting a ton out of it. I'm loving it, just interviewing people for that. So you can just go to our website again, podcast booking. Down the bottom, there's a section there for that. And if you want to talk about anything marketing, happy to do so. But let's go back to Q&A. I want to leave some time here if anyone has any specific questions we can put on here. Feel free to shoot us a text too if you have any questions you want answered after this webinar as well. All right. Well, it looks like we are all good for today. I really hope that was beneficial and helpful for everyone here. Please share what you're doing. We always love to hear the strategies of people implementing that as well. Of course, if you do want to help with your marketing, that's what we do. Happy to talk through that there as well. But otherwise, happily implementing. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone who's joined live. Thank you for those who are watching on the live stream. Thank you for those who might be watching after this is recorded. I'm Josh Blakeley from Landscape and Hardscape Contractor Marketing. Have a great rest of your day.